animal lovers. Welcome to another episode of the Story of My Pet podcast. I am your host, Julie Marty-Pearson, as always, and I'm excited to welcome a pair of guests today. Yay! I think this is actually my first duo. Wow.
Ooh.
And my first male guest on the podcast.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Welcome, Brian, Vermeire and Kristina Hughes. Thank you both so much.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Thank you so much for being here. It's so funny. I just thought of all those things as I was getting ready to introduce you. So you can feel very special, Brian. First.
I'm expecting a plaque. You're gonna send a plaque to me, right?
Yeah, and you'll hang it right there between the two feline frames.
Oh my gosh, yes, you got it. It's going right there. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to tell my listeners a little more about you before we get into it. Kristina and Brian are LA-based entrepreneurs, stand-up comedians, and loving cat parents to 7 rescues. I love this. Living on the edge of Los Angeles County. It makes it sound much more fancier than what it is.
It's fancy out here. Come on.
Oh, it's fancy, just as fancy as me in Bakersfield. So it's okay. They believe that cat parents shouldn't have to suffer with the ugly aesthetic of cat trees and boring cat shelves in order to give their cats vertical space. So true. An effort to showcase their cats and up-level the decor in their home, they created Frame Your Feline, which allows cat owners to enjoy seeing their cats pose within works of living art. So great. And you can see it in the video I will definitely be posting. And one of their cats is illustrating it for us right now.
That's Winnie.
That's amazing. So we're going to talk about this amazing art that you guys have created for people and just overall 7 rescues. I can't wait to hear all about it. So thank you, Brian and Kristina, again for being here.
And Winnie.
And Winnie, yes, I think I'm going to have to grab my phone to take a picture of that because I just love it when like the cats know.
He's ready.
He is very
our
ready.
kittens, Holly and Jolly, are right underneath our feet playing with a spider, a plastic one from our son's Halloween collection. And somebody's under a rug.
Yeah,
I see them. I'll get them eventually.
Okay, so I think we have a lot to talk about. I guess I'm going to let you guys decide where you want to start. But I would say let's start talking about your love of pets. The fact that you have 7 show me that you guys are true cat parents and pet lovers. So let's talk about for each of you or together as a couple where your love for animals started.
Where did your love of animals start, Brian?
When I was a tiny young lad, I had a dog.
And it was a huge dog.
It was an old English sheepdog named Maisie.
Oh, wow.
And this was the best dog ever. If sheepdogs, they've got that big fluff of hair. And she learned how to grab our legs and then tackle us onto the ground. So we would literally be playing football out on our side yard and all the neighbor kids and everything. And the dog would be there and tackling us. It was so much fun. So I loved my dog and I never had a cat, didn't understand what cats were, didn't think cats were worthy of any special attention. I didn't care. I just didn't care. And then you fast forward and I meet Kristina, who had cats. And that's when it all went downhill for me.
When I was born, my parents were in a little teeny tiny 1-bedroom apartment. They were in college and I guess they had 8 cats. And then somebody's cat had a litter and they gave my mom cats and they just had tons of cats. So I've always had cats. Those cats were adopted out. I had Misty and Mr. Dillon when I was really little. We were in a fire on Christmas Eve. They escaped, but we never found them. And so then I had another cat named Misty. I'm often commenting on people's black cats on Instagram under our account going, my first cat was a black cat named Misty. And basically I moved to California, didn't have a cat. And Brian and I started cohabitating and a cat found us. We'll just say on our street, she kept following us home. And once you feed someone else's cat, they're going to be yours. And we found out she was in a bad situation and we were able to adopt her.
Julie, let me ask you a question. Do you remember there was this movie, I believe it was Steven Spielberg, a famous director. Don't know if you know who that is.
Heard of it.
Gremlins. You ever hear this movie Gremlins?
Yes.
So one of the rules of Gremlins is don't get them wet because then they multiply. So
Yes.
basically we had one cat and then we must have got it wet because now all of a sudden it's like cats coming out of the wazoo. We love cats. I can't get enough of cats. Have you realized I'm a changed man?
You are a changed man, but I totally get your change because I too never had cats growing up. We had dogs. My mom was allergic. Turned out she was afraid of cats. Yes.
No comment for the mother-in-law. Sorry,
And then I got my first cat, which then turned into 4 cats. So yes, I do understand. And they find you. It's like they know they have a homing beacon on us. Cat people go there.
Once the shell is pried open, it's open season.
And we have a very strict policy. When something sad happens, when a cat passes away, we have to get 2 kittens or a bonded pair of 2 or 3-year-old cats.
I'm not liking that math.
So-
I'm not liking that math.
We lost our Frosty, who's on our blog, who was the first cat to be in our product as an alpha tester. We lost him in January. And so we adopted 2 kittens that are now 1, and they still have kitten energy up the wazoo. They are.
I like that math, and I'm going to tell my husband that that is actually the way it's supposed to be. Because the last 2 cats that we lost were never replaced. So he technically owes me 4 cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also agree with you. Adopting cats in pairs is really the way to go, whether you don't have any or you have one, because a lot of times, especially as kittens, they're so bonded, and that kitten energy, they have someone to take it out on.
And even if they're not technically actual siblings, like
Right.
we rescued Poppy and Mojave in 2019 from the Palmdale Animal Care Center. And they are not from the same litter. They're a month apart, but they still cuddle and groom each other. And especially when they were first here, Brian was like, oh my God, I've never been around kittens before. And they're just, tick, 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 tick,
Oh,
tick.
yeah.
So they do get their energy out on each other.
Yeah, there's nothing like kitten energy. Goes like to 100 and then down to 0 just as fast, like when they're out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
just like
nothing beats the energy of a cat after having used the litter box. And they get the zoomies.
and spread the little bit of litter all over the house.
Yes.
It happens.
Yes.
I deal with it.
Yeah.
He hates it.
So you currently have 7 cats. And
That is Winnie.
okay. Yes, she seems
I
very
will
chill.
try to find Tootie is a one-eyed cat that we rescued from the streets of Los Angeles. Someone abused him and kicked them out of her apartment. So we have Tootie, Winnie, Poppy, Mojave, Holly, and Jolly. And
Uh-oh.
then someone dumped a cat in our neighborhood last summer who we trapped, neutered, got all the shots with the intentions of keeping him inside. And this one was like, let's just let him out of the indoor catio now that he's talking to the other cats. And we woke up in the morning and he wasn't in our house. We were like, that it was really quiet. He was outside at the front door waiting for breakfast.
He escaped. He escaped.
Through a screen.
and he was like, "Doc, where's my food?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has now decided he wants to live in our backyard, which we are thinking of trying to retrap him, but we've tried to retrap him and he really wants to just live in our backyard. And we are in a very quiet area.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah, sometimes cats let us know what they want, whether we
Mhm.
like it or not.
Yeah.
7 cats. What inspired you guys to start your feline frames or frame your feline, company?
I think one of the first things was we had a cat tree in our
LA.
apartment in LA when we were first dating. And
First dating.
not fair, but it eventually happened, right?
Mhm.
We ended up having cats.
We
And then we got a
rescued
cat
Frosty
tree.
and our hairdresser gave us this brand new cat tree. And we were like, ugh.
And it was ugly. The shag carpeting was getting everywhere. It just started getting ratty. Then the smell started to happen. And there's dust mites in it. It's nasty. Cat trees are gross. They're just gross.
And Frosty
And
would
so-
hide in the bottom of it all the time. We're like, come on out, live
Oh.
your life.
But cats need vertical space. And when we bought our house and we were hanging up pictures and artwork and stuff. And then we were like, it'd be kind of cool to see our cats in a frame. And then the kind of things started going off in our heads.
And the other thing was we would always try to dress Frosty and Maggie in costumes for Christmas. And we'd have our friend come over from across the street and take pictures. And we're like holding them. They're like, I hate this snowman outfit. And I hate this dress. And we're trying to get a family photo. And it was just always impossible.
And getting great pictures of your cat is almost impossible, right?
Because they do this thing where they don't pose.
So we came up with this concept of a frame connected with shelves that you install on your wall. And we initially had this first version. We worked with my father,
He's
who's
an engineer,
retired, super brilliant, genius man. I don't know what happened to me. So he's, we started talking about the idea, and he's really good with his hands and woodworking and problem solving and everything. And so we started getting to designing it, see how would it look. And our first iteration was more of like a square, and it looked like you were looking through a window rather than like a picture. So we had to change this. It had to get bigger, it had to get taller, it had to get wider. And
we have that now in our kitchen, and we have plants that hang in it.
Yeah.
So we can look and go, there was the alpha version. Nothing goes to waste here.
So then we got to getting bigger, and then we had to do some rigorous testing. We had to make sure that it could handle the torque, and how would we connect it to the wall so that it would have a floating feature and be able to take the pouncing of a cat jumping up and down and on it.
And also Brian's parents came up with
which is being illustrated perfectly right now by your cat as she moves from.
I'll get somebody else. But their idea also was like, beyond just putting them in a frame, like what about switching of this art concept?
Right.
So we were like, that's a smart idea. But then it brought us back to dressing your cats. And so holiday backdrops are the best way for that to happen. The holiday section on our site. But we get back to that. So we installed the first one that was the size you see now, which is 23 inches wide by 18 inches high by 9 inches deep. So it's nice and big, good wide space. And one of the things that we had to really think about too was the frames. So we originally, Kristina and I were like, oh, it'd be great if we got reclaimed
wood like from a thrift store.
And my dad is, yeah, good luck with scaling that. Like
it's gonna fall apart. There's no integrity. You can get 100-year-old piece of wood from a church or a barn, and people will be mad when it splinters. And
so
smart.
We ended up going with actual real framing materials that professional framers use. And that's what they look outstanding. So
yeah, they look just like any other frame you would have. That is meant to be on the wall.
They are meant. This is not cheap plastic or anything like that. It's the real deal. And that's why we're really proud of the product that we've come up with, because it just looks so good on the wall, even when a cat's not in there at the moment.
Yeah. So that's important because, like you said, cat trees, or even just you guys have some that are just plain shelves that they're sitting on. When they're not there, it's like, why do you just have a shelf on your wall? With the art, then it's still nice to look at whether there's a cat in there or not. And so it's a great way to think about it.
So when we installed the first one, we didn't know, because we didn't know how our cats would react to it. So we just put up, and it was instant. You don't have to train them. They just instinctively gunk. And then, but what was a happy surprise for us was that they love sitting in there for long periods of time, because they feel like they're enclosed box. It's because there's a ceiling and there's a floor, and then the frame gives it this sense of security. So that's been the cool, happy accident, because the feedback we're getting from our users, or what we call them, not users, clients?
Our customers.
Yeah.
Our community.
Our community.
Yeah.
our fam, I call them the fam, the response is the same. It's all off the hook because their cats are
They
constantly
take to it.
Right.
wanting to be in there. And what's super special is that we have this really cool carpeting on the lower
Oh.
shelf there in there. And it's got this like groove texture and the cats just love digging at it.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
guess what?
And it keeps them warm.
Yeah. And the carpeting is replaceable. So that's what's cool. Everything we've built it out. So like the pet owner doesn't get frustrated because they have something and it looks ratty on their wall. The frames are interchangeable and the artwork is interchangeable.
I'll show a little.
So once you install one of them, you could change the frame out at any point in time. You could
Right.
change the artwork out at any time. There goes Kristina.
Yeah,
And
I was watching some of your videos on YouTube, and it's really cool because even like you said, when you're talking about holidays, seasonal art, you find really cute things, but I'm only going to have that up for a month or 2 months or whatever it may be. So that's another great aspect because then you don't get bored with it.
you don't get bored. You could take great pictures of your cat with different backdrops. And so we call them artwork panels. And then
This is a very popular, I don't know if we can really see it. It
Oh.
says, happy birthday to Meow, the favorite
Oh my
holiday,
gosh.
right, of every cat. So you can put their little food in there or their treats and then take a picture.
That's great. I
Yeah.
love it because it is so true. It goes back to why you guys thought about doing it. It is so true. Like I only have cats currently and they're just not about posing in a cute costume or even on your lap, or it's just not having a dog that's okay. I'll sit here for 5 minutes with a scarf on.
Okay.
So it is a great way to get them in a place where it has some kind of setting that you can get their picture.
and you don't even need to, you don't have to coax them in there and,
Right.
oh, I hope they just will sit and look at you and
Like
they'll be
what?
like, what happened? What happened to you? Why are you looking at me? Yeah.
But I
Right.
think that's where we realize that cats are smarter than dogs, right?
Yes.
They don't just want to have a costume on them. They're like, nah.
Yeah,
Um,
mine don't go for that.
Yeah,
My
we-
first one did, but that was because he was a little bit of a show. He liked to show off his floofy tail and stuff. But yeah, usually not. And I do also agree with you in terms of cats. They love that feeling of being inside and being hidden. It's a safety for them. And so giving them that, I'm sure, is why they like it so much.
And then like where Winnie is right now, that's her favorite frame. We have our fireplace over here. So she'll sit in that frame and just stare at the fireplace all winter long.
Yeah.
And that's
I
fun.
can
We have one in
imagine.
our kitchen. The cats like the morning light. We put one in our bedroom where we shot a video that Brian's going to upload of a nice time lapse of how quick and easy it is. And we're going to put one in our home office pretty
I
soon.
think that's the next one.
because that's the afternoon light. So the cats kind of follow.
The light.
The
Yeah.
light. Yes. No, absolutely. And it's also seasonal. I know my cats like to lay at certain places, certain times of year. As our listeners may not, we both live in parts of California that are very hot in the summer.
We have the AC cranked right now,
Yeah,
still in
like-
October.
I know. It's what? I don't even know. 88 today or something like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But
It's ridiculous.
it affects the cats in terms of where they want to lay. Like I have a window in my bedroom that they love to lay in, but only to a certain point of the day where it's okay, now it's just too hot to be there. So that's great that you can put these in different places, different parts of the day that they can enjoy them.
Yeah. So the other rooms have one, but this is our super wall where we have two and a series of step shelves for them to climb in and out of.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Someone called it cat super highway.
Ah.
You guys have a super highway. And we have left this wall blank on purpose so that when people see this, they can imagine how they would style it in their own place. But we have a user in Salem, Massachusetts, and she has put plants that she knows are fine for her cats all around it, and Madonna pictures and like fake candles and stuff. So she's created a whole gallery wall, which is just stunning.
No, I love that because one of the things I've been thinking about is shifting the way my office sits so I can have the wall behind me and all my different animal art So yeah, you could totally add that into it and it just goes with it, but then it can become interactive for the cats.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can see how she just doesn't even care that you're changing them out. She just
No,
goes in.
she'll sit in there as she's swapping out the art because the cat, again, feels so secure in there that, you know, why leave?
Do you ever have the cats fight over a particular spot?
So, like, they don't fight. Last night in the kitchen, 2 of our cats inside the frame together, and they're big cats.
Oh.
But it's pretty amazing. They all want to be in it. On our website, we have suggested layouts of if you're going to put in our shelves, and if they have their own shelves, like the way you may want to have it set up if you have more than one cat. So that way there's an entry and exit point on both sides. So that way, if one wants to get in, the other one can leave. Otherwise, you end up with a traffic jam. And that's something we learned very early on because the cats all wanted to get in it and one's waiting. Let me in.
You want that flow through so they can go in and out whichever way they want to. No, that's great. I just love watching your cats go in and out of them, honestly.
That is Poppy. She is 3 and she's from Palmdale Animal Care Center. She's the largest cat in the house. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. So she was in the frame with Mojave.
And they're both big.
And they're both big. And they were just all like loving each other in the frame.
Then you can see that there's plenty of space for them, even her. And it's okay. Us big girls want our art space too. I had a Cosmo and he was quite thick. We called him Chunky Monkey. So I told, but there's nothing wrong. And I just have to say that cats are like people. We come in all different shapes and sizes.
Yes. And so we try to post all over our social media our cats and everybody else's cats. So we have a Maine Coon, we have a Bengal, we have these beautiful Persian cats, Egyptian cats, some Siamese cats. We have our little forever kitten, Holly, who's maybe 7 pounds. And that's, I guess, all she's ever going to be. We try to show a variety and also just coloring so people can figure out which colors they like, what fits your aesthetic, but also maybe what makes your cat pop. And that's why I put out this purple gradient one. Our black and white cat Jolly looks amazing on that one. So we have, if you want color, if you want nature, if you want signs.
We have a solid green backdrop artwork panel that you could get so you can chroma key anything you want behind your cat.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I might be having to get that one. I'm always trying to figure out new ways of doing videos with my cats, but it's like they're always in the same spot, like on the bed or laying in a cat bed, and it's like boring. So I love that.
Yeah. So if you do the green, you're golden.
And you had mentioned the YouTube videos. So some people are like, how does this work? Like, how do I?
Yeah, because I first found you guys on Instagram. And so in still pictures, you see it, but it doesn't make all the sense to you. So that's great that you guys have the video of showing how to use it, showing the cats going in and out of them. It really helps people understand it. And I also appreciate the architecture aspect of it because my husband is a carpenter. So I totally understood everything when you guys were talking about the different kinds of wood. And he'll tell me never buy anything from this company again because it's not good quality. Quality matters, especially when you're dealing with something like this for cats. We bought one that was supposed to attach to the window. Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't even put my hand on it, let alone our cat jump on it.
Do you want people who install this in their homes or their apartments, condos, to feel comfortable and safe, knowing that when they follow the instructions that there's not going to be a problem? We want cats to be happy and healthy and enjoy this. We don't want, when we first put up the sliding art, like one time Winnie was like, what is that? And she didn't come by for a day or two. And now she doesn't remember it. Right. So at first I was like, oh no, maybe that's a problem. But there is a special lip in the back of the frame. So when you put the artwork in, it stays. If you don't put it in and push it in, then it'll fall.
So I think that's the big difference between a product like ours and the other products that are for pets is this one is purposely built for quality and lasting forever, essentially. It should, unless you're like taking a sledgehammer to it, right? But the point of this product is that it's an investment that will carry through for future cats to come. And you can always take it down and put it onto a different wall if you move or wherever. So it's something meant to go with you, and it's not meant to just be like, oh, we're done with it, throw it away now. This is not a throwaway product. This is,
Which is so important for cats because they do like to tear things up, whether it's with chewing or scratching or whatever it is. And like you said, with cat trees, a lot of times they're material that absorb the smell and all of that. And there is a length of time you just have to get rid of them. So I like that this is material that's easily cleaned or replaceable and interchangeable.
And we've had this carpet on these shelves for over 3 years, and we have not replaced them yet. And we have had 7 cats that have been on all of these. So what I do is I just use my little Zoom groom
right there
once a month just to get up all the extra fur. And if you give them treats or somebody puts dinner on there once in a while, because we have to separate them sometimes when they're having their meals. So you just get up all that and vacuum it, and it looks great. But if you're somebody that doesn't like one little thing of string, then you can shave it off, trim it, or you can replace it. But they really go at it.
And again, like just putting this together was such a project. You think it's like easy. You're like, oh yeah, frame on the shot. Yeah, I got it. No,
we have to shoot install videos.
So hand me one of those images.
Any particular one?
Something colorful or vibrant or. Sorry, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, this is cool.
Oh yeah.
So this is a sunset backdrop.
I'm an artist back in Massachusetts.
Yeah, this is a photo. It's just amazing. So
it's beautiful.
Getting these images on this, it's so for those who are just listening, hopefully you'll watch this episode, but the artwork backdrops, the artwork panels are a semi-rigid, thick thermoplastic, which means, and it's fine for cats. They can try to scratch at it. They could throw up a hairball. I always say, wipe it down with a wet cloth and the colors will not run. This is really built for even outdoor kind of to handle the weather elements, right? So we really wanted these pieces to look vibrant, and the printing that we have done on these, the colors just pop. I don't know if this can translate, but
no, it looks great.
The colors really come through, and that's where like we have great people who are coming to us who are photographers, graphic artists, who are like, hey, I want to get my stuff as back panels for Frame Your Feline.
Oh, that's great.
And so we have a creative community. It's in our about area on our website, and you can contribute and you can have your artwork featured on our website, and people can have that for their cats and take pictures of your work with their cats. And
that's so cool. Yeah. I love that, because then it's a way for artists to share their work too.
Sure.
And it's been fun for us too, because as a family, we have a 6-year-old, and we will go places and we'll shoot pictures. And Jackson's, I want to take a picture of this for Frame Your Feline. And so we actually drove up to near where you live in 2020 to the almond blossoms.
Oh yeah.
And we took a lot of pictures of that.
Yes.
We've taken pictures at Mountain High, some Wild West places, some aquatic stuff from here in California. So it's fun for us as a family. Get out of the office and let the cats do their thing and go find some cool things to shoot.
Yep.
No, that's great. I was just thinking when you showed the sunset, I don't know if you guys have ever been on the Central Coast, Morro Bay. I have great photos from there of the Morro Rock, and thinking I love having those up, and think I could just put it in there with the cat and they could.
You could. Yeah. 100%.
So I love that. So it can be something that you really love to look at, whether the cat's sitting there or not. I really like that idea.
Yeah, we do have. So if let's say you have a great photo and you don't want to be a contributing artist,
yes,
right?
You don't want anybody else to have access.
Right. I don't want anyone else to have my image.
No.
Right? Then we do have customized artwork panels where you just order that. You can upload your photo and it will be printed on our huge 18 by 23 inch image. And then you could have that as a backdrop, and only you will have that one, which is cool. We have businesses that have done their logo for the backdrop.
That's cool.
Some veterinarians, some cat rescues, because especially like for a rescue, it's great because boom, the cat's in there, and now you can take a nice picture, and then
Yeah.
it's more marketable, because that's the sad thing. And that's the reality, especially where we are talking from in California. Unfortunately, all these animal care centers, the pound, are full of animals that don't
Mhm.
always make it out. And a big problem is you go online and you see these pictures of these cats that are frightened and they look like they're in just a disgusting, dirty place. Now, imagine if the pictures were elevated and you're like, that's a beautiful cat, not a cat hiding and stuff. Our goal really is we want to have one frame in every room of every home of anybody that owns a cat, but we would also really love to reach out to the rescues and have the rescues want to have a feline frame up and have their logo behind it. The cats are more exciting to look at, and people don't overlook them.
No, I think that is so important. In general, animals in shelters are difficult to be seen because their life is in a cage now. And I know a shelter that I work with, they had a photographer start volunteering. They're taking these amazing pictures of the dogs. Now I'm like, what about the cats? Cats don't always want to have their picture taken. And I volunteered at this rescue. And when I was there last week, cleaning the cages, you move the cat from one to the next as you clean and sanitize. When you first see them in the cage, they seem so sad and to themselves, but then when you pick them up and they're like happy and they want to play, that it is difficult to show that to people who are interested in adopting, that what they look like in that atmosphere is not the cat they're going to be for you, most likely.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I really
100%.
love that idea.
And thank you for your volunteer work too, because
thank
that's
you.
very important.
Yes. And dogs and cats, either one, people don't realize when they're in a shelter, they don't get that one-on-one interaction. The staff only have so much time in the day and they have to clean and take care of them. They don't get to go on a walk as a dog, or they don't get to be taken out and played with as a kitten. And so anything like that you can do is so important. Even though then I just want to bring them all home.
I know.
That's the hard part. I know.
It's
Speaking of animal shelters and rescues, you guys mentioned to me an organization, I don't know if you work with them or have known, called Piper's Helping Paws.
Yes. We don't personally know them other than we've interacted with them on Nextdoor. We have 2 rescues that I know of in our area. And unfortunately, in the Antelope Valley, a lot of animals are neglected. They are dropped in the desert. They are used for dogfighting and other things. And this woman, she is a vet tech, and she has right now 32 kittens that she is taking to get transported, because we do have some programs through Karma Rescue or the Karma Project where you can essentially have the neutering done for free, the spay or neuter for free, but she still has to drive an hour and a half. And oddly enough, I'm pretty sure she's taking all her cats to where we took our little cat Scrappy that resides outside. I wanted to give them a little shout out, because I know when you're starting, she's not really starting small, because they're over 32 kittens right now, and she has a couple dogs. And we hope eventually, we bought the domain name years ago, woundedwhiskers.com. And we hope down the road to be able to have enough money through Frame Your Feline to offer spay neuter programs. And then what's really something for us is people, mostly elderly people, but when people pass on or they have dementia and they can no longer take care of their pets, what happens to that pet? So we want to really start to inform people, like, you have to be a responsible pet parent. And if something happens to you, you need to have some money aside so people can take care of your animal, and your cat or dog isn't dumped at the pound and forced to live a life in a cage. But we love knowing that Piper's has a vet tech behind them. So, somebody who is not just passionate about animals, but somebody who knows, like, this cat needs immediate care. This cat has some eye problems. These cats have ringworm or whatever, to be able to address. That's a nice, responsible thing. So we wanted to give them a shout out.
No, that's great. We will put the contact info in there, and so people can learn more about that, because that is, kittens can come into a shelter, like you said, with an eye infection or something that really is easily treatable, but in a shelter environment, it's difficult to treat. They may not have that, be able to treat it, and then it gets worse, and sometimes eyes have to be removed because of it. And so anything that we can do to help them, especially, Yes, in California, we have huge populations of cats and dogs that are dumped outside or left outside. We have huge feral cat populations. I know in Kern County, that's a huge problem. And so that's amazing that she's starting something to help with that. So I will definitely promote that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, I think that's an important topic that you brought up about thinking about how your pets will be taken care of if something happens to you, especially when we have older people, elderly people who have pets. And we want to promote them having pets because pets can be such a huge support to them when you're living alone or whatever it may be, you're isolated. But we also have to think about the pet's longevity and if they may outlive their cat mom or dad or whoever it may be, that we really want to make sure people have it set up for them to be taken care of.
Yep.
Yes. On the Nextdoor app, I connected with a woman who's a caregiver, and that person that she's taking care of has dementia and has to be taken care of by the state. And there is a beautiful white cat named Snowflake who looks so much like our cat Frosty. And I was like, Brian, it's just one more. But the cat had been assessed, and they had said the cat had been assessed because prior to this, the cat's other owner died. So the cat's owner died, and then it was put up for adoption. This woman helped get a cat for the sick person, but they weren't sick at the time. And in that moment, they were like, the cat really needs to be in a single family home or the only cat in a home. And so I reached out to my little community on Nextdoor, and I was like, does anybody have room? And a woman I have other pets, but I have an apartment in my house and my son and daughter-in-law live in there, and I want to do this. And so we had some ups and downs. And then after 3 weeks, we have a happy reunion, and the cat is there, and the cat is very happy, and will live out the next 8 years of her life in a calm environment. So
that's amazing.
Happy. You have to just ask. Ask around and use social media. You never know what's going to happen. Look, we connected through social media.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I've found so many amazing new pet parent people through social media who are doing great things, who are starting small businesses like you are, that are doing something pet oriented, but you want to be able to use that to give back and help pets in need. And that's just every little thing counts, because every animal's life we can help is a life that would have been lost if they were stuck in a shelter or whatever it may be.
Pets have soul. Pets have soul, and I think a lot of people don't realize that, and we do. And so we want to help animals and help cats.
Yes. But that is a really important topic to think about, because I see stories all the time. I follow rescues all over the country. Oh, this cat was dumped because the owner passed away and no one in the family wanted it. Or we found it in the house it was literally left behind when the owner had to be put into a skilled nursing home or something. It happens so often that it is a really important thing to have your pets set up to be taken care of, no matter how old you are, because you never know what could happen, but also to help your family members and your friends who are in situations like that to make sure their pet is taken care of.
Yeah.
We want cats to have long, healthy, happy lives.
Yes.
And dogs too. And everybody, and horses. And I have a possum currently, and he lives better than I do.
Wait,
honestly.
You have a possum?
Yes, we have a possum.
Don't worry.
The face. Yeah.
Whoa, wait a second. Frame your possum.
I actually... Yeah. And he probably would get in it. He has a pretty fancy penthouse.
Now, I'm hoping this is an outdoor possum, or is this an indoor possum?
I was hoping that too. No, he lives in our dining room.
No, you're kidding.
No. I will take a picture and send it to you guys after this.
Julie.
I know.
Julie.
It's
my husband. Big, sharp teeth. Julie, what are you doing?
Fun fact, possums have 50 teeth. They have the most teeth of any mammal.
Oh my goodness.
He's very cute though.
Julie?
it was not my choice.
We could have a little humor with Frame Your
Possum. My God.
So we have an eagle swooping down. Or we have a possum in the railroad tracks.
Oh yeah. Oh no. His house is gonna have to become bigger. So I think this might be an addition that is necessary.
Wow. How do you end up with a possum?
How does that even happen?
Is this trained possum?
No, we can pet him. When he was littler, we could pick him up, but now, the teeth. We don't want to take any chances.
Don't bite your head off.
No, my husband is a carpenter for a school district here, and he got a call from a custodian one day saying, "Hey, I need a big stick." And he was like, "Okay, there's a possum in the cabinet and I got to get it out." It was little, it was a baby, and it was there, and there were no other possums. So obviously it was alone. There was nowhere to release him. So my husband brought him home, and cut to 3 months later, he still lives here. And my husband, as a carpenter, has created a 4-story penthouse on rollers that is in our dining room.
Wow.
He has litter trained him.
No way.
Possums are a lot like cats, I'm realizing. He was able to litter train him. He washes his little face with his creepy little human-like hands. Whenever he eats, he curls up in ball. There are a lot of very cat-like aspects to him, aside from the scary 50 teeth.
Possums eat besides your fingers. What do they eat?
William, the possum, eats better than I do. He gets scrambled eggs made with greens chopped up so that he doesn't realize he's eating the greens. Yes, seriously. We have pellet food that's specifically for possums. So that's where we started. But my husband, he just likes, so he eats strawberries and bananas and blueberries, and he gets fresh chicken on the nights we have chicken made in the crock pot. Yeah, he's the most spoiled possum in the entire world. There's no way now we can release him because he literally has a charcuterie board waiting for him every night when he wakes up.
Do they bark? Do they howl?
No, they growl. And they will like that, kind of like a cat growl or a dog growl. But now he doesn't growl at us at all.
Of course, I wouldn't growl at you.
But is this a free range possum?
No, he's in an enclosed space.
Okay, you don't let him out.
No, because we wouldn't let him out with our cats or anything. And we're not sure what he would do. He has a little wooden house within his house that he sleeps in. So he's like a cat. He likes to be covered.
Do you take him to the vet?
No, we don't. I mean, I don't know. That may not be a thing at some point, but because he's an only possum, which he will be an only possum, we're not getting more possums.
I'm sorry.
We don't have to worry about spay and neuter and all of that. And
Wait,
it's a boy, so.
What is the life expectancy of a possum?
In the wild, they tend to live to 2 or 3 years old. Mm-hmm. So it's not they have a short life expectancy.
He'll live about 8 years, probably.
Yeah, probably. With my luck.
Wow.
No, I love him. I have to say, the animal lover in me has really enjoyed watching the process of him growing and how we're learning about him and the way he acts. But it's at a certain point, he's going to get so big. What are we going to do with him? I don't know. But
wow.
Yeah, my husband he has 6 tarantulas. Yeah. And we have 2 tortoises who live in our backyard.
Aww. That's popular out here.
Yes. And he grew up with tortoises. So when we moved into our house, he brought one over here to help reduce the pet population in his parents' backyard because you can't spay and neuter tortoises. And they will have babies every year. So yeah, but they're also California tortoises are endangered species.
Protected,
so you're not, you can't just release them back into the wild. So so we have Rufus and Spike who live in our backyard. We have William the possum who lives in our dining room.
Oh my goodness.
And 3 tarantulas. Do you name the tarantulas?
He does have some names, but he has an office room that he keeps them all in. So that's his business. They don't bother me, but as long as we've been married for 17 years. And so he's always loved animals, but now he's getting back into it again. I'm like, as long as you're taking care of it, I don't care. But then I just want to bring in more cats, and that doesn't happen. So anyway, it's a very interesting life over here.
I was going to say, holy cow. There was a moment I was going to say, I'd like to come out and visit you. No, not anymore. No.
Just realize all of our tarantulas and the possum are all in closed, locked cases. They cannot get out.
Sure. It's the one time I come over to have some tea with you, and then they escape.
And this is why I don't bring my dog sitting clients to my house. because we're not going to take any chances.
Yeah.
So anyway, enough about William the Possum.
Yeah, sorry. Hey,
I'm definitely going to be showing my husband these. I'm like, we need to, when we upgrade William the next time, we might have to add in, because how else are we going to get a picture of him for the family Christmas card?
There you go.
And just to let you know, William the Possum is actually named after my dad.
Oh, that's Brian's name too.
That's his middle name, but yeah, never. But I do have 2 cats, Charlie and Frenchie. So those are my babies, and the rest are my husband's hobbies.
Well,
but
they would love a frame.
Yeah,
they would love a frame.
I definitely think that's going to be an addition soon to my home office, because I have all these amazing different animal arts from different things. I want to create a whole wall to have as my backdrop when I'm recording, so I can start using more video. So that'll be super fun.
Very good idea.
Yes.
Get a backdrop with your podcast logo there.
Yes. Hey, there you go. Hey. Okay, so back to the topic of the podcast. So is there anything else you guys want to talk about in terms of your business and what you're hoping to see people do with it, or just in general in terms of helping animals in need?
No, I think, as Kristina said, we want to see everyone enjoy their cats and get more photos of their cats and share those photos on Instagram.
And have some humor if they like humor.
Yes.
Like we were talking with the eagle and the damsel in distress on the train tracks.
No, I love that. And one thing I do want to ask you, I do not have any human kids, and you guys mentioned that you have a 6-year-old. How has it been raising him with cats? Does he love them?
He loves them, and they love him. But when we brought Jackson home from the hospital, Steve and Tootie were like, what is this? And then they became little babysitters, and Jackson is really wonderful. When we moved here, we rescued Winnie and from the Cat's Meow, and they came to do a home inspection, and Jackson's a little on the younger side. A lot of rescues don't want to adopt to families that have 8 and under. And the woman from the rescue walked in, and Jackson's, come here, Winnie, come here, Winnie.
Aww.
And so they became instant friends. And then with the kittens, with Holly and Jolly, Jackson came with me to the Lang Foundation. We did foster to adopt during COVID. So we never actually met them in person. It was like the strangest internet dating. I like that kitten and how about that one? And they were just like, keep us posted on how it is. But they knew we already had Frosty from them. And so he's great with them. He reads to them. We go to the library and he reads to dogs because they have a thing called Barks and Books, and he'll play music for them. So he just loves them. He loves horses. He loves our birds in the backyard. He's actually
right here.
Right here.
Here, just here. You can.
Hi.
This is Jackson.
That's Jackson.
Nice to meet you, Jackson. I'm Julie.
Hi.
Do you love all your cats?
I don't. Just kidding.
You can't tell your parents are comedians at all.
Here we were just saying he's amazing with the cats. I don't like those cats.
I don't like them.
No, I don't like them. I
love them.
Oh, do you have a favorite cat?
No, I love
You just love them all. Yeah, that's great. Yay. I always love to have people who have human and pet kids talk about how great it is to have them grow up together. So I appreciate you saying hi.
Yeah, Jackson helps out with the cat dishes. That's his chore, to bring the dirty ones in. So I haven't asked him to help with the litter box yet.
But he's getting a life skill I never got.
Yeah.
Having a cat. It's a life skill.
It is, because you'll have a cat for your whole life.
He'll be a cat guy.
Yep.
You know? He already got here.
Cat dudes are great.
Cat dudes.
Yeah.
Why, thank you. And by the way, as the first male on your show.
Hello.
Yeah.
Brian is definitely our resident cat butler. He wakes up first thing in the morning, so he's in charge of a certain area of litter boxes. And all the cats are like, "You're up. I'm hungry.
Yes.
Let's do it." So
my husband is the same way. He leaves for work at 5:30, so he's the early morning guy, and I'm the late night mom. Both are very important jobs.
Yes.
thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for agreeing to go video so that I will be able, I'm going to figure it
Yeah,
out.
well, the whole Frame Your Feline is a visual
It
thing.
is. So I'm glad we did that.
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to let people know that the website and where they could see more. And
Yes,
if they have
your website and your socials will all be linked in the show notes of this episode, as
oh,
well as any videos and all of that fun stuff. And any posts I make on social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, I'll link you guys as well.
Cool.
then forget it.
Forget it. You don't need to know.
He won't say frameyourfeline.com.
It is. Yes, it is frameyourfeline.com.
Cool.
So it's an easy
Awesome.
one.
Okay.
Okay.
So I just want to thank you, Brian and Kristina, again for being here. It's been great to get to know you. I love meeting fellow cat people and hearing all about this amazing creation, Frame Your Feelings, that you have created to share with the world.
Thank you. We truly enjoyed
Come here, Winnie.
this episode.
Yes.
I think it may be the finest episode yet.
Hey, let's hope so. Let's bump up those downloads. It was great to meet you guys. We're close enough. Who knows? We may get to meet in person at some point, but we will not be coming to my house where the possum lives. I got that much.
Thank you so much, Julie, for having me.
Thank you for coming and having a great time talking about all of our amazing cats.
You're welcome. Thanks, Julie.
Bye.
Bye.